Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Enter Black Void. And today's discussion is going to be is love. What is love? Many people think it's an action. Other people it says it's an emotion. And then you have some people that says love is way too complex. You can't really define it. Here's my problem. Marriages are tanking. Relationships are failing. And one of the biggest reasons why, in my opinion, is because we don't know what love is, or rather, because we haven't defined it in such a concrete manner, right? It's hard to practice. You see? One of my biggest concerns and problems is that everybody defines love in a different way, which is nonsensical in my opinion. Because when you think of words like car, it automatically paints a picture in your mind, and everybody knows what a car is, right? An automobile with four wheels, a steering wheel, a gas pedal with an engine, So, same thing with dog. Nobody questions what a dog is. Nobody have different definitions of what a dog is, right? We can say a mammal with four legs that barks, right, from the canine family. So when we think of sun, we think of a star. All these words are able to be defined in a well orderly manner that makes it understandable and intelligible for everybody to understand. So why is love so different? You see? And this is where I would like to demonstrate or maybe have a definition of what love is. One, we have to understand that there are different categories of love, right? For instance, the love of friendship, right? Platonic friendship, that's a form of love, is vastly different. Well, it's not vastly different, but it's fundamentally different from the love of family, right? Your familiar love, right? It's also different from love of romantic love. You see? So all of these categories, right? You can have unrequited love, you can have, self-love, you can have, you know, love for nature, love for country, because people do love their love for country, right? This is what nationalism is or patriotism is, right? So once we understand there's different categories for love, then we can find a commonality between this love. Like, what does it actually entail? Love, right? Now, when you break it down, you see that okay, if you love something, you care for it, right? You treat it properly with kindness and care, right? Some people even go as far as sacrificing themselves in order to for the loved one or the loved individual, right? Um, Another thing too that comes with love is love in action. If you really analyze it, if you truly have love for somebody, then love in action is justice, right? Because the idea of justice is treating people fairly. When you love someone, you treat them fairly. You see? So now we're starting to see shape, and now we start to see a concrete definition of love. Now, is love an emotion or is love a virtue? You see? I would like to argue that love is a virtue. Why? Why is this more beneficial that love is a virtue? Virtues can be practiced. Virtues can be taught. Virtues can be modeled, right? I can see somebody practicing a virtue and I can model that behavior myself. You see? The problem with love as an emotion is emotions are fleeting, right? And if you have a fleeting emotion, it's hard to make that emotion consistent, right? One day you love somebody, the next day you don't love somebody. We don't need that type of love, right? Otherwise, it's just like flimsical. It's almost like the wind. It comes and goes, right? But does that really happen? Does love come and go? Think about it. Parents that love their children, does that come and go? No. That love is consistent, right? Even even if the parent doesn't like their children, that love still remains, right? You have it in romantic love as well. You may not like the person, but you still can love the person. You see, why is that? Because love is an action. What you're feeling is not necessarily love, but people like to conflate love with affinity. That's the best word, or that's the best way to describe love as a feeling. It's affinity. Affinity is this feeling that you have because of closeness to somebody. Because you're in proximity and closeness with somebody, you feel there's affinity there. It's not necessarily love, right? You, so, and if you understand there's a difference between affinity and love, then you can understand that what many people are calling love as a feeling is affinity. But the actual action itself is love, the virtue. You see? So now, if everybody has their own definitions of love, it becomes chaotic. It becomes unpracticable, right? It cannot be practiced. Because if I have a version of love and you have a version of love, right? And we're supposed to come together and work together, we're not going to be on the same page because your definition varies from mine. And this is what I think causes divorces and breakups in relationships. You see, everybody has their own definition of love. And therefore, if everybody has their own version of love, then we cannot communicate. You see, communication is action. Is the mutual understanding between two or more individuals, right? That propels them to cooperate with each other for a certain project, for a certain endeavor, for a certain relationship. You see? So if we can understand love as a virtue, if we say love is a virtue, it now becomes almost like a textbook, right? We can analyze it, right? We can say, oh, this is not love, but this is, right? Because think about it. There's some people out there, I've seen it many times before. Oh, he doesn't love me until he beats me. And you're scratching your head. What? Is this love? Is that your version of love? It sounds insane. Why would you want to hurt somebody? Why do you want to even get hurt? Right? And now this person is what? Every time to prove their love, they're going to give you a black eye? It doesn't make sense. You see? So, love is not an emotion. It's a virtue. What you're feeling as the emotion is affinity. Another emotion that you may feel, or sometimes people confuse with love, is lust. Many people confuse lust and love all the time. They get the two mixed up, right? Sometimes they confuse love with infatuation, right? Or obsession, right? Or possession. You see, we don't need this. We don't need these types of corroded, we don't need this type of toxic love, right? We don't need that. If love is going to be a virtue, then it has to be a behavioral pattern, a lifestyle that optimizes the longevity and well-being of the individual, of the couple, of society. You see? So Black Eyed Peas once said in their song, "Where is the love?" Where is the love? Right? When you read the scriptures, especially the Bible, there's a verse that says, the love has gone cold, right? Or love has waxed cold, right? That means love is dwindling. Why is it the love is dwindling in the world? Or why is it gone cold? Ask yourself this question. Because people cannot see it. How can you see something? How can you see a virtue? How can you see that? Based on action. The fruits. You see, the actions, your fruits, what you do is proof that you have this virtue within you. You see, that is the evidence. And this is why love as a virtue becomes that much more powerful. Because we can see it. We can practice it. We can say, oh, wow, he truly loves her. Wow, she truly loves him. Wow, you don't need, for instance, you don't need necessarily all the gifts and glamour, right? The materialistic things to prove your love, right? Rather, the love will come and the love will show how you treat people. How you treat people. The reciprocity you show people, right? If you love me, right? What does the scripture say? If you love me, you love your neighbors, right? Love your neighbors as yourself. Treat other people as you would treat yourself. You see? So it was never an emotion. It was always action. You see? It was, and when Jesus says, all the laws of and the commandments hinges on two laws: to love God with all your mind, heart, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself, right? Think about that. The love itself that Christ commands is based on action. What you do is a commandment, right? Don't steal, don't, unalive people, don't commit adultery. These are all action. You see? These are all actions, and this is something we can practice every single day if we are mindful of it. If we are mindful of it. So, where is the love today? The problem is we're not practicing it. Scientists says to master anything, it takes 10,000 hours to master something, right? So what if we practice and put in our 10,000 hours in love itself? You see? This is just discussion. I'm throwing it out there to have people think, right? But if we define love in a concrete manner that is intelligible and understandable, then it becomes a language that we all can share. And if it's a language that we all can share, everybody understands it and everybody can demonstrate it and everybody can practice it, right? And this is how you have heaven on earth. That's the only way you can have heaven on earth. Earlier I said love, love is, in action, is justice. It's impossible to love somebody if you don't treat them fairly, right? And the reason why it's justice, because you got to understand the balance scale. The balance scale represents reciprocity. In every relationship, in every form of love, there has to be reciprocal, give and take, right? It's a reciprocal action. In exchange, not a transactional exchange, but a reciprocal exchange. I give you the best of me, and you give me the best of you. And let's work together in order to make this relationship work. You see? So this is why justice is so paramount, because justice actually keeps the balance in the relationship. And when there's balance, there is love. If the balance is uneven, that means one party is given more than the other. One party is doing too much and they're not getting the same energy in return because of the imbalance. And this is why many times relationships fail, right? You have the rules of the relationship, one party keeps it and the other person doesn't. The other party doesn't reciprocate. You got one person that's loyal and another person that cheats. That's not reciprocity. You see? You got one person that takes care of you and the other person that doesn't take care of you. That's not reciprocity. So you see now where what I'm doing is making it as simple as possible so everyone can understand. It's not about looks. It's not about looks. Because if you make love about looks, this is when lust is. This is what lust is. This is what attraction is, right? This is what like is. Love is not about looks. Love is the actions that you show, the reciprocal action, the fairness you show other people. And to make my words stronger, or to give it more weight and evidence, self-love. If you love yourself, you treat yourself fairly, wouldn't you? You wouldn't treat yourself horribly. If we say love is fairness, or love is, the action of love is justice, then self-love is treating yourself fairly, treating yourself justly. Would you rob yourself of food and nutrients? Would you rob yourself of, hygiene, a proper hygiene? Will you rob yourself of health? Think about that for a second. It's the same way with romantic love. Would you rob your partner of care? Would you rob your partner of, treating them properly and kindness and generosity? Would you rob them of good things, the best that you can offer? You want it, right? Because you would treat them fairly. Same thing with friendships, right? You do everything possible in order to maintain the friendship. You do everything possible in order to maintain the romantic relationship. You see? You treat the person kindly, with fairness. Another thing I need to point out is that love has to come from truth. It has to come from truth. Love has no deception in it. And I'm gonna break it down. The foundation of everything that we do is truth. Once you have truth in place, right? From truth, then you have wisdom. Wisdom is the application of truth, right? From wisdom, this is how you have love, right? Love is the expression of wisdom. Because if you are wise, you actually apply the truth correctly. You apply the truth in a harmonious, balanced way, right? So you have truth. From truth, you have wisdom. The expression of wisdom is love, right? Because, for instance, I'll give you an example. Martial arts. People that love martial arts, what they do, they're able to apply and practice it, right? They're able to take the wisdom from this particular knowledge system, right? And you see joy and happiness from the wisdom that they get. That joy and happiness, right? The joy and happiness that they feel from practicing it, right? From gaining the wisdom is that love, right? because they can practice it over and over and over, and they don't get tired. And because they invest in that practice, they invest in martial arts, right? They treat it fairly, right? They give it their best shot. They give it their best opportunity in order to become masters of their craft because they truly love it, right? They do it justice. It's the same thing when you love a car, right? You see a car, that's the truth. Wisdom tells you to take care of that car, right? Because you love it. You take care of that car. How you take care of that car is by doing that car justice. So that way the car doesn't break down. You see? Love is love. I hope I make sense. So love is, if you care for something, if you truly love it, you maintain it as best as possible to have continued access to it, whatever you love. If you say you love this woman, you maintain her, you keep her, you take care of her, right? So you could have continued access to her, do her justice, treat her fairly, right? If you say you love that man, treat him fairly because you want to have continued access to him. The minute you fail treating this person fairly, right? The minute that person doesn't see the love, right? How can you see love? Treat them fairly, right? The minute they don't see that care, they leave. Now you no longer have access to this person, and this is how the breakups happen. So from truth, you get wisdom. From wisdom, the actual demonstration that you love this wisdom, you love this particular craft, is love, right? From love, the manifestation always comes with justice. You treat it fairly. You do what you have to do. You treat it with justice. All right? So I hope this video was beneficial to you. I hope you really liked it and appreciate it. Please subscribe. Please, if you have questions, you can write a comment down below. Please like this video, share this video, and thank you. I appreciate this.